Other parables focus not on the current phase, but rather on the last days. For example, in the following parable, though the final outburst of redemption is postponed, there is a feeling of its closeness, reflected in the suggestion that only 1 year is left for bringing forward good fruits. It's Luke, still chapter 13, starting from verse 6. And he, Jesus, told this parable. A man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. And he said to the vine dresser, Lo, these 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and I find none. Cut it down. Why should it use up the ground? And he, the other one, answered him, Let it alone, sir, this year also, till I dig about it and put on manure. And if it bears fruit next year, well and good. But if not, you can cut it down. The urgency and the focus on the end is even more pronounced when the time of redemption is likened to a marriage feast arranged by the master of the house, namely God. It's from Luke chapter 12, starting from verse 35. Let your loins be girded and your lamps burning, and be like men who are waiting for their master to come home from the marriage feast, so that they may open to him at once when he comes and knocks. Blessed are those servants whom the master finds awake when he comes. The motif of the final kingdom as a feast, a banquet, returns in Luke chapter 14. Here also the focus is on the final phase, where the division between those selected to enter and those rejected is to be established. I start from verse 15. When one of those who sat at table with him heard this, he said to him, Blessed is he who shall eat bread in the kingdom of God. But he, Jesus, said to him, A man once gave a great banquet and invited many, and at the time for the banquet he sent his servant to say to those who had been invited, Come, for all is now ready. But they all alike began to make excuses. So the servant came and reported this to his master. Then the householder, in anger, said to his servant, Go out quickly to the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in the poor and maimed, and blind and lame. For I tell you, none of those men who were invited shall taste my banquet. Finally, one also finds in Jesus' parables in Luke the motif of the personal eschaton, or one's death and post-mortem existence of the soul. This is what we read in Luke chapter 16, starting from verse 19. There was a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. And at his gate lay a poor man named Lazarus, full of sores, who desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. The poor man died and was carried away by the angels to Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham far off and Lazarus in his bosom. And he called out, Father Abraham, have mercy upon me, and send Lazarus to dip the end of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am in anguish in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that you in your lifetime received your good things, and Lazarus in like manner only evil things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in anguish.